And because we can plainly see that these platforms really have become quite dangerous and the smartphone is just an easy access point for all of them, I would propose that if at all possible, that you put off getting a smartphone as long as possible. Pastor Bryce here, and welcome back to 5 Minutes for the Family. I'm glad you decided to join us, and this week we're going to be doing things a little bit differently here, and we're going to be taking a look at our iPhones, and I'm right now even doing a screen recording. I have my iPhone right here, and I had to tap it so it didn't fall back asleep, but I have my iPhone right here, and I want to walk you through a list of some apps that you can be on the lookout for if you have a child or a teen that has a smartphone. And one thing that we have to understand in looking at this list of apps to beware of is that this is by no means an exhaustive list. This is just a list of the most popular apps that children as well as teens are using in order to hide things from their parents and to get away with things that they otherwise would not be able to get away with. And so again, these are the most popular apps, but your best plan of attack would be to take your child and take your teen and to sit them down with their smartphone and to one by one go through every app and see what they use it for and different ways that it can be used. And if any of them make you suspicious, then you can download the app for yourself and play around with it and see different ways that the app can be used in order for you to determine whether or not it's safe for your child or your teen to have that app in the first place. And the first two apps that we're going to take a look at are apps that are used to hide photos as well as videos from prying eyes. And the first one we're going to take a look at looks like an audio manager, but it's really truly not an audio manager, but it is designed and it is meant for hiding things from other people that you don't want them to see. And it is even advertised in this app, hide your photos and videos behind a lock. Your files are safely hidden within this app, and you can enjoy your priceless moments in privacy. What those priceless moments are that need to be kept private, I have no idea, but certainly we can be assured that they are not good ones. The second app we're going to take a look at here is really similar to the first app. The only difference is that instead of looking like an audio manager, it looks like a calculator. And the calculator allows them to be able to produce a code, and only by typing in that code will it unlock the app's photos, videos, and other documents that are hidden behind it. And this app is advertised in this way, hide photos and videos. And they also have a private browser within this app. That's also a feature that's advertised. So they can browse the internet and lock it away so that nobody can know what they were looking at. It also allows them to download images and to store them for later viewing. And even has this advertisement here, hide everything. I'm not sure all the things that need to be hidden, but once again, that's not going to be a good thing for any child or teen. The third app that we're going to take a look at is the Secret Photo Vault. And this Secret Photo Vault allows you to lock away photos, videos, and other documents away from prying eyes. And unlike the other apps, if you type in the passcode wrong, it will snap a photo of the perpetrator so that the person whose phone it belongs to knows that you were trying to look into their business. And the next app we're going to take a look at is Snapchat. And I know that it's possible to use Snapchat in an innocent way, but let's not forget the history of Snapchat. Snapchat was the idea of two college guys, and the idea behind it was so that they could sext with college girls and have the photos disappear. And as we found out in the news is that Snapchat, the photos really do not disappear, but it's also possible to take screenshots of them. And these photos that have been taken screenshots of have actually come out as blackmail against the people that sent them. This happens quite often, actually, more often than we'd like to admit as a society. People that are going out together and sending these pictures back and forth, and then they break up and one gets bitter against the other one and they take these photos and they blast them across the internet. And I don't think you want that for your teens, and neither do I think that teens really even want that for themselves. But it's possible that they might lack the maturity to look into the future and see that coming. Another feature of Snapchat to be aware of and to know that is built into there is the Discover section. And the Discover section really has categories of some things that are pretty filthy. According to ProtectYoungEyes.com, not so long ago, Snapchat actually came out with a porn channel called Cosmo After Dark. Since then, they have removed that channel, but since Snapchat has done this in the past, we know that they probably will do it again in the future. Another thing to consider with some of these apps is that even though, yes, once again, it is possible to use these apps in an innocent way, I don't think that any of us would really hand our teens a magazine, and on page number 1 of that magazine, it might have their best friends and a collage of all their best moments. And on page number 2, it might have pictures and a collage of their acquaintances and all of their acquaintances' best moments. But then on page number 3 is a collage of pornographic material. And I don't think that any of us would like to hand that magazine over to our teens and say, hey, you can look at page 1, you can look at page 2, but just don't look at page 3, and then hope that they don't. And all of us would recognize that that's not wise to do with magazines, and neither is it wise to do with apps or technology as a whole. Another app to watch out for is Omegle. Omegle is a messaging app that connects you with random strangers. It's even advertised, have one-to-one video chats anonymously with random strangers so that you can share your real feelings. And all of us know that when there's an open invitation to have anonymous chats, whether or not they choose to use the video feature, it never really goes to a good place. And according to the Huffington Post article that warned parents about some of these apps, they went to find a screenshot of an appropriate Omegle conversation, and they did find one that they were able to post on their website. They said it took them quite a bit of time to be able to find that conversation, and the conversation looked like this. And I don't think that any of us want that for our children and our teens. Another app to watch out for would be Tinder, and I know that it's not an app that's designed for teens, but there's really nothing to prevent teens from logging onto there. And the idea behind the app is that you would be able to go on the app and look at pictures of people, and if you're attracted to them, that you would initiate a conversation with them. And really that's the only basis for the initiation of the conversation. You go on there, you look, if you're attracted, you swipe a certain direction, and if the other person swipes in that same direction as you, it initiates a conversation and opens up the gateway for your children and teens to talk with really a perfect stranger. And that's a recipe for disaster all in itself. Not much that needs to be said beyond that. Another app to watch out for would be Kik. And Kik really started out as a messaging platform, but what it has evolved into is that they've found that minors have gone onto sites and they've advertised for explicit things, and they've invited people to come and follow their Kik account as a result. And so Kik really has evolved into something that is really quite dangerous. Another app to watch out for would be Ask.fm, and you can go on there and you can ask questions anonymously to perfect strangers seeking for advice. Not much needs to be said about this one. And there you have it. There are some of the most popular apps out there that can be quite dangerous for your children as well as teens. And although this is not an exhaustive list, hopefully it gave you a little bit of a head start. Really what I advise you to do is to sit down with your teens, sit down with your children, and go through their devices with them and ask them specific questions about every app that they use. And if you're not satisfied with an app that they use and you're just really not sure why, get the app for yourself, test it out, and see if there's any hidden features. And because we can plainly see that these platforms really have become quite dangerous and the smartphone is just an easy access point for all of them, I would propose that if at all possible, that you put off getting a smartphone as long as possible. And if you do choose to give your children a smartphone, make sure that you keep careful watch on how they use it. Once again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.